Right, okay. Well, welcome everybody, and I'll just introduce myself for those who don't know me. I'm Freddie Jack Quinn, I'm a hypnotherapist, and been doing this for a long time. And this morning's session is to help you overcome any irrational fear, anxiety and stress that you're going through at the moment. And it is a stressful time. You know, we're living in a situation we haven't, to my knowledge, most of us haven't lived through before, where we're having to isolate, having to keep ourselves away from other people, which is totally unnatural for us. And we don't realise how unnatural it is until we're put in that situation. You know, I'm walking down the middle of the road. If I have to walk anywhere, I'm walking down the middle of the road to avoid people. And so it is an unusual situation. But we're going to talk about irrational fear and about a natural awareness. And there is a difference between those two things. You know, you do need to at the moment, we all need to at the moment be aware of the fact that the virus is about, and we have to take care. It's no good just being, you know, gung-ho about it and thinking, well, it's not going to happen to me, you know, and just go out there and just do what we want to do. And we've seen that in people in the parks and on the beaches. I think it's people have got an awareness now of what can happen. We've seen people dying. We've seen all the things they said were going to happen are now starting to happen. At the beginning of this crisis, I know I was as well, I was a bit light-hearted about it. What's the difference between this and the flu? What's the difference between this and that? But we now know that this thing, you know, is a deadly virus, and we've just got to keep it under control. So there is a natural awareness we need at this point in time. But what we don't need is the irrational fear and anxiety and stress that a lot of us have been feeling about this. You know, I spoke to someone yesterday, and he takes care of his mother. His mother's been ill, and he's the only sort of carer. And the stress he's been under from not being able to go and help her and go and be with her. You know, it's a horrific thing. You know, to be able to, and the fear of when she asks for something, him going to the shops and putting himself under risk, because his fear is not even about himself. It's about what happens to his mum if something happens to him. So there is all these natural sort of anxieties that we get at this point in time. But what we're going to deal with this morning is any irrational fear that you're feeling. You know, as I said, there is a natural awareness we need, but we don't need that irrational fear, anxiety and stress. And again, you know, living in these situations and in enclosed spaces, you know, I'm fairly lucky in as much as I live, as I said, right on the coast, and I overlook the sea. But for people living in inner cities, in apartments, and they can't go out, it's tough. So, excuse me. So those are the irrational fears, anxieties that we're going to be dealing with today. And let me first talk about how irrational fears, and I'm also going to talk about phobias, because they're all in the same kind of category, if you like. As human beings, we have an ability to learn things very, very rapidly and then allow them to become something we do automatically. Driving is probably the most obvious comparison. When we first learned to drive, seems to be 100 things to think about. And now we just drive from A to B, and we don't even think about it. We're changing gear hundreds of times, you know, changing directions on the steering wheel thousands of times, and we just do it. And that ability allows us to function at the level we function as human beings. But we have an ability to learn things that are dangerous and painful. And most of those things, to be honest with you, start with our imagination. There are two ways to learn a fear. One is like a one-stop learning. A dog jumps up and bites you, you feel the pain. The part of our brain called the amygdala will fire off. It will take a snapshot of that animal. And then for the rest of your life, it will scan the environment for anything that looks like that, so you don't get hurt again. You know, a child only has to touch something that's hot once. It doesn't have to do it 5 times to realize that really hurts. The moment they touch that hot object and they feel that pain, the amygdala will fire off. It will go click, click, take a snapshot of that object. And then for the rest of their life, it will scan the environment. I think it looks like that, so they don't get hurt again. So that's the one-stop way of learning. The other is to learn something from a parent or from a teacher or someone that as a child we're around a lot. You know, if a mother's got a fear of wasps, and every time there's a wasp in the area, the mother's flapping around and running about and trying to protect the kid. That kid at that point in time has no awareness that a wasp is dangerous or it can hurt you. But because they see their mother in that anxious state, they go, well, she's an adult, I'm a child, she's frightened, that must be scary. And at that point in time, they imagine being hurt. They've never been hurt by a wasp, so they can only imagine what it must feel like. Now, after a while, that imagination becomes automatic. I see a wasp, I feel anxious. And at some point after that, and this is the critical part, they forget they only ever imagined it. Now, to our mind and our body, if we're imagining something, even if it's we're watching a film or we're watching a play, and we get into it to the point where it can make us cry or make us laugh or make us feel emotional, we suspend our ability to critically analyze it at that point in time. And it's the same with this. The moment we forget we only imagined that something was scary, then to our mind and our body, it becomes real. And so a lot of the fears we have, a lot of the anxieties we have, we've never actually experienced it. They begin and they end with our imagination. You know, I've been saying this for a long time now. It seems a strange thing to say, but nothing is real. And what I mean by that is that you'd say, well, of course it's real. I've got a computer screen in front of me. That's real. This virus is real. That's not what I mean. What I mean is when we think about our past, which a lot of our anxieties and fears come from, it's not exactly as it was because our memories are not 100%. And even if it was correct, the past is a void, it's a vacuum, it's done. There's nothing we can do about that. The future hasn't happened yet. It can, at this point in time, it can only be imagined. So that's not real either. And so most of the things that we worry about are either in the future or things we should have or could have or would have done in the past if we had a different history. So once we get back to the understanding that at this point in time, it's only our imagination. That doesn't mean go out there and go to the parks and mix with people. I'm not saying it in that way. I'm saying that when we worry about this virus getting us or us dying of it, and we picture all of the things that happen with that, you know, then at this point in time, it's our imagination. We need to bring ourselves back to that and just remind ourselves that this point in time is just our imagination. That's not to say we don't take care of ourselves. It's not to say we don't take precautions against this virus. But what I'm saying is that worrying about it and visualizing what might happen and all the things that can happen, which create that anxiety in us, we cannot control that by just bringing ourselves back to that understanding. At this point in time, it's just our imagination. Now, as I said earlier, when we create any sort of learnt behavior, and irrational fear and anxiety is a learnt behavior, it's the same as everything else we learn. For people to say, okay, well, just stop worrying or stop being anxious, would be like saying to them, forget how to walk or forget how to talk. They say that's ridiculous. It's no longer something I think about. It's something that just happens, something I just do. And it's the same for our fears and our anxieties. Now, when we create any skill, and as I say, driving, playing a musical instrument, typing, speaking, walking, once it's learned, for want of a better way of describing it, in that moment, we create a part of us that then runs that behavior for us. You know, I see people who smoke, and I've seen people who smoked 50 cigarettes a day for 30 years. They're not very well, but they've been smoking every single day for 30 years. Some of them have been smoking for 50 years or 60 years. But the majority of people, let's say they smoke 20 a day. And I say to them, that's an incredible feat. To try and remember to do something 30 times a day, every single day for 30 years without fail. It's an incredible feat. We couldn't do that consciously. At some point, probably as a child, they went, this is important to me because it makes me look cool with my friends. Remind me to have a cigarette. every 30 minutes or whatever it is. In that moment, they create that part of them that then runs that habit or that process. And it's the same with our anxiety and our fear. At some point, the anxiety or the stress or the fear you've been feeling was created. And in that moment, you wouldn't have said it consciously, obviously, but you'd have gone, remind me, I never want to feel like that again. Anything that makes me feel like that, make me aware. And then from then on, anything that reminds you of that pain or that upset or that fear is going to register with you. Because that's what it's like, isn't it? Because you can be sitting wherever you are at the moment and you can say to me, Freddie, you know, I want to be free of this fear. I know it's irrational. I know this stress is only doing me damage. It's not doing me any favors to feel stressed. But it's almost like as a part of me continues to remind me of everything that could possibly go wrong. And that is exactly what it's like. So when we do this work in a while, as strange as it may seem, I will speak directly to the part of you that's running that protective mechanism. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've face-to-face worked with over 30,000 clients. I run training all around the world, so I've trained thousands of people how to do this work as well. And I have a theory, it's a Freddie theory for what it's worth, but I believe that our unconscious instinctive mind is only ever trying to do one of two things for you. It's trying to give you pleasure, or it's trying to protect you. And the majority of the time it's trying to protect you. But this is about protection. So when we do this work, and as strange as it may seem, as I said, I will speak directly to the part of you that runs that protective mechanism. And it will communicate with you in some way. You will not be speaking, but it will communicate in some way. I am going to ask it to explain what it's doing for you. And it's pretty obvious. It's trying to keep you safe and well. But I'm going to ask the question anyway. I'm going to ask it to explain to you what it's been trying to do for you, what its positive function is, if you like. I am then going to ask it to go to your creative mind, the part of you that dreams, that has ideas, that makes plans, and allow your creative mind to run, flow, and work, and come up with lots of new choices, lots of new ways of keeping you and the people you love safe and protected, but at the same time allowing you total freedom from the irrational fear and anxiety and stress you've been feeling. Allow you the natural awareness that everyone should have so you can be safe, but allow you freedom from the irrational fear and anxiety and stress. Now, providing your creative mind come up with some new choices, and I've never known anyone who can't, even though you're sitting there thinking, I don't know what I can do. I've never known anyone who can't do this. Providing your unconscious mind, that part of you that runs that creative part of your mind, can come up with some new choices. I'm going to ask you to take one of those new choices and integrate it into your body and mind. And when that happens, I promise you, you'll be unable to experience the irrational fear and anxiety and stress and dread. And that's going to happen in these next 30 minutes. So look, I want you to get into this with me. Understand that I want you to be happy and I want you to be well. And listen to me if you want, but I don't mean this rudely. I'm not interested in your conscious mind. You've tried to overcome this consciously and it hasn't worked, because this is an unconscious process or program that's been running. And your unconscious mind will hear everything I've got to say, and it will take from it what's needed for you to free yourself forever from the irrational fear and anxiety. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hypnotize you. I'm going to speak directly to that part of you that runs that protective mechanism. I'm going to ask it to explain what it's been doing, and then I'm going to ask it to go to your creative mind and find some new choices, ways of keeping you safe, but at the same time allowing you total freedom from the irrational fear, anxiety, and any dread you've been feeling. I'm just going to switch my phone off. I forgot it was on. It keeps pinging. So what I'd like you to do while I'm taking my phone off is to find a place where you can sit comfortably for maybe 20 or 30 minutes, where you can be safe, where you can be undisturbed if possible, and just listen to my voice. And I'm assuming now that you've found that space. What I'd like you to do is make sure your legs and your arms aren't crossed. That's right. And when you're ready to free yourself forever from the irrational fear and anxiety and dread, I want you to take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, just allow your eyes to close, but only as quickly as you're ready to make these changes. That's right. And with the eyes closed, you can begin to relax. Although at times you may be more aware of some things than you were before. The sounds in your room, the sound of my voice, the sounds outside the room, certain sensations, the comfort of the chair, the beating of your heart, and the thoughts and images that drift into your mind automatically. I'd like you for a moment to think about the people you love, people that love you, and feel that love right now. And as you feel that love, as you see those faces, every ounce of irrational fear and anxiety starts to dissipate from your body. Because with the eyes closed, it becomes easier to become more and more aware of a variety of things that otherwise may go overlooked or ignored. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, and the alteration of awareness as the mind begins that gradual letting go. That's right. Letting go even of the effort it takes to be aware of exactly where the arms are positioned, or the hands or fingers. Even the effort it takes to be aware of which leg seems to relax more quickly or completely than the other may seem to be too much effort to bother making. It's so much easier simply to relax and enjoy that letting go. But it takes time to experience that letting go. Your own time in your own way. As you begin to learn even more than before about your abilities, your capacities to learn as you relax. And the mind begins to drift down toward a place of quietness, a place of peaceful inner awareness, a place that almost seems to give off signals that directs awareness down toward it, into it, more and more comfortably, more and more effortlessly, more and more completely and deeply than before. Where even the effort it takes to be aware of the sound of my voice or the meaning of my words may almost seem to be too much effort to bother making. It's so much easier simply to relax and enjoy that letting go, allowing events to occur in your own time, in your own way, drifting down. Deeper, deeper, deeper down now. Imagine you're just dropping down through space and time. Nothing bothers or affects you, nothing disturbs you. And as you drift deeper and deeper, my voice, my words will drift with you to become a part of your experience now. And every word I say will take you even deeper into that wonderful, profound state of hypnosis. Everything I say now becomes your reality. Every suggestion I give you, you'll act upon and carry out without hesitation. It's now your reality. Because you have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And that unconscious mind, the back of the mind, can continue to hear, to understand, respond to those things I might say without the need for you to do anything at all. It's so much easier for the conscious mind simply to relax and enjoy that letting go. That's right. Letting go even of the effort it takes to make the effort that it might take. To tell the exact position of arms, legs, or the entire body now that seems to drift through time and space. that wonderful free floating place of effortless relaxation and letting go. Allowing events to occur in their own time, in their own way, as you drift as a mind. And that mind drifts without boundaries, without borders, without limits. See yourself out there. It's the summer, it's the autumn of 2020. You're fit and well. You're with your family, with your friends. And notice the way you move and the way you breathe. Step into that body and notice this new appreciation of everything around you. The people you love, people that care about you. The freedom. And feel that feeling now. Look back to now, notice the things you did along the way that led to that wonderful feeling of freedom. And the unconscious mind can allow those changes to occur, while the conscious mind drifts off someplace else entirely now. That's right, in your own time, in your own way, aware of events that occur along the way, as the unconscious mind utilizes that opportunity to alter your awareness and to continue that learning in whatever way is the right way for you. Learning that feeling of letting go. Allowing the unconscious to assume more and more responsibility for guiding and directing awareness as you continue to learn even more than before about your abilities, your capacities to learn as you relax. As you relax and enter into the trance more and more comfortably, more and more effortlessly, more and more completely and deeply than before. And I can wonder whether you're aware that you've drifted deeply into that trance. Because the deeper you go, the better you feel. The better you feel, the deeper you'll go. 10, 20, 100 times deeper now. Imagine you're just dropping down through space and time. And as you go deeper and deeper, I'm going to count down from 10. And every number is going to take you even deeper into the most incredible state of bliss. Your body will relax completely, like you've had a bliss anesthesia. With every number down, your body will enter a state of total bliss. Every number will double that feeling. But at the same time as counting down from 10, I'm going to be counting up from 1. And with every number up, your mind will become stronger and clearer and more focused on what you want, how you want to feel, what you want to achieve. And at some point, as I'm counting, your mind will separate from your body for a while. And it will be the most incredible feeling of liberation and freedom. So as I count down from 10, every number will double that feeling of relaxation and bliss. As I count up from 1, every number, your mind becomes stronger, clearer, and more focused. 10, body relaxing, every muscle, nerve, and fiber. 1, the mind is stronger and clearer than it's ever been before. 9, going deeper, deeper down, just dropping down through space and time. Imagine it's happening automatically. 2, every negative thought that's ever held you back is swept from your mind. 8, going deeper, deeper, deeper down now. Nothing bothers or affects you, nothing disturbs you. 3, every limitation, every limiting belief that was ever placed on you, swept from your mind, replaced by a new understanding. 7, going deeper, deeper, deeper down now. Imagine it's happening automatically. Imagine there's nothing you can do about that. The deeper you go, the better you feel. 4, the mind begins to separate from the body. 6, going even deeper now, just dropping down toward that place of total bliss. 5, the mind separates from the body and drifts without boundaries, without borders, without limits. See yourself out there, fit and well, living your life the way you want to live it once again. Spending time with people you love, people you care about. See it clearly in your mind. The mind drifts without boundaries, without borders, without limits. 5, the body just drifts through time and space. You have no idea where your body is in time and space. The most incredible feeling of liberation and freedom. And as I continue to count down from 5, every number doubles that wonderful feeling. Takes you even deeper into the most profound state of hypnosis, where you have access to all your own unconscious abilities, strengths and skills. 4, going deeper, deeper down now. 3, just dropping down. 2, 1, 0. And now you're in that space. Just you and the sound of my voice. And a feeling of freedom. And as you drift there in that incredible space and go even deeper into that feeling, you can use your unconscious mind as a resource that you can learn from and really have an experience, one that's satisfactory to you. And all that's needed to build a good rapport with the unconscious is to have a line of communication. Sometimes the unconscious communicates by movement. And it may be that the eye reflex changes and the eyes flicker, or the head moves slightly to indicate yes, or a muscle twitches involuntarily. That's right, you can try and keep those eyes still, find they flicker even more. It may be that the left hand moves all by itself and starts to feel lighter and lighter, starts to drift up and lift up to indicate yes, or the right arm goes even higher. Only the unconscious mind knows which you'll use, because the unconscious mind knows more about you than anyone else. And so as you drift deeply into hypnosis, even deeper than before, I'd like your unconscious mind search through all the things in your life and pick one thing that's of vital and utmost importance to your future, something you felt anxious about, something you've been worried about, something that you'd love to be free of. And when the unconscious mind's made that choice, I'd like it to allow you to know, by allowing that honest, unconscious movement to begin. I don't know, it would be a left hand, right hand, both hands that drift up first as the eyes flicker, or a muscle that twitches, or your body temperature that changes, but you will know before I do, as that movement begins. One thing that you'd love to be free of, something that's been making you anxious, something you'd love to be free of, something that no longer suits you. And when the unconscious mind's made that choice, I'd like it to increase those signals so that you understand. And as the unconscious mind searches, the mind automatically moves toward those thoughts and ideas and images that clarify most clearly for you the very things you know and do that seem to get in the way. Awareness migrates toward things that need attention in the same way that animals migrate without thinking, without trying. They just seem to know when to go, where to go, what to do to take care of themselves. And now I'd like your unconscious mind to hand those signals to the part of you that is responsible for that protective mechanism. It's been keeping you safe, well and protected. And when that part that runs that protective mechanism has taken full control of those signals, I'd like it to allow you to know, by allowing those signals to occur, with honest, unconscious movements. And now I'd like to ask that part to explain to you what it is that it's been trying to do for you, what the positive function of that protective behavior has been about. And when you fully understand what that part's been trying to do for you, I'd like it to allow that signal to occur so that you understand, you know the reason. And now I'd like to ask that part to go to the creative mind, the part of you that dreams, that has ideas, that makes plans, and allow that wonderful creative mind to run and flow and work and come up with lots of new choices, lots of new ways of keeping you safer and protected, but at the same time allowing you total freedom from the irrational fear, anxiety, stress and dread that you've been feeling. Allow you the natural awareness that everyone should have so you can be safe, but allow you total freedom from the irrational fear, anxiety and dread. And each time it identifies a new choice that it believes will keep you safer and protected, but at the same time allowing you that freedom from the irrational fear and anxiety, I'd like it to increase those signals so that you understand. That's right. 10, 20, 100 new choices now. And as that part does that and searches for those new choices, I want you to imagine just drifting up out of your body now, leaving your body in that chair. Imagine you're drifting up out of your body and just leaving your body in that chair for a while. And as those signals occur, drift even higher. Imagine you're drifting up higher and higher now. And in your mind's eye, I want to look down and see a target, like an archery target, way down below you. You can see the coloured bands, you can see the very centre of that target. Now in the very centre of that target is all the irrational fear, anxiety, stress, dread that you've been feeling. In the centre of that target is every ounce of that irrational fear, anxiety and dread. In a moment I am going to make this sound. As I make that sound, you will be fired, shot like an arrow, straight through the centre of that target and straight out the other side in a millisecond. But be brave, because as you go through the centre of that target, you may experience that irrational fear, anxiety and stress even more intensely for a split second, a millisecond. But be brave. This is the last time it will ever affect you. So get ready. As I make that sound, you're going to be fired, shot like an arrow, straight through the centre of that target. Get ready. And now you're out the other side, just drifting in that space of bliss. Once again, see the faces of the people you love, people that love you. Feel that love now. And feel it like a burning hot sun in the summer sky. Shrink it down to a white hot ball of light. And pull it into the very core of your being. And let it emanate out through every cell, every fibre, pushing out every black cloud of doubt, every ounce of anxiety and stress, and replacing that stress and anxiety with a feeling of love and a feeling of joy and a feeling of light. Feel it now, flooding your body. Now I'd like to ask that part that runs that protective mechanism. Pick one of the new choices, the one that it believes will keep you safer and protected, but at the same time allowing you total freedom from the irrational fear and anxiety. And when it's done that, I want it to increase those signals for you. And now I'd like to ask that part to take this new choice and integrate it into your body and your mind. And when it's done it completely, I want it to increase those signals so you understand. I'd like to thank that part that runs that protective mechanism for communicating and making those changes now. And from today, no matter how hard you try, you will never experience that irrational fear, anxiety and stress again. And the harder you try and remember what it felt like to be anxious or afraid, the further away that fear and anxiety goes. From today, no matter how hard you try, you will never experience that irrational fear, anxiety, and dread again. The harder you try and remember what it felt like, the further away it goes. And I know that you'll enjoy being happily unconcerned, unable to remember to be anxious or afraid. Because now you're going to enter every day knowing you're protected. And go with your unconscious as often as you need to know you're free. I'd like to thank that part that runs that protective mechanism for looking after you and making those changes now. So in a moment, I'm going to count from 5 to 10. And as I count from 5 to 10, your mind becomes stronger, clearer, and more focused on how you want to be, how you want to live. And on 10, your eyes will open and you will feel incredible. Feeling of freedom, maybe a fearlessness you may have never experienced before. And a lightness of being you're going to take into everything you do. So get ready. 5, feeling absolutely incredible now. 6, every negative belief gone from your mind. 7, every limiting belief that was ever placed on you swept from your mind. 8, once again, feel that love and joy and freedom flooding your body. 9, a moment of clarity. 10, eyes opening with a feeling of enlightenment, a new understanding about your worth, your value, and the powers you have within you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that experience. I'm going to be running these every day. Tomorrow it's going to be about self-appreciation, appreciating the things we have, appreciating ourselves and the people around us. And on Friday, I'm going to be running a quit smoking session. So if you know anybody that wants to quit smoking, and there's never been a better time to do that, then get them to join me on Friday. And I will be running these every day. So if you want to join me again, it'll be great. I hope you're feeling better. I want you now to try and feel that fear and find you cannot. On a scale of 0 to 10, where's that fear gone now? Try and feel it, find you cannot. And it will never affect you again. You know, I wish you all the best through this time and this crisis we're going through. Look after each other, look after yourself. Be safe. Listen to what the medics and the scientists and the government are saying to us at this point in time. I know, to be honest with you, it goes against the grain to be told what to do. But at this point in time, it's a sensible thing to do. So be safe, look after yourself, but do it without the irrational fear and anxiety. And we'll all get through this. We will have our life back. And we'll look back at this and it will be something that just happened in the past. So have a beautiful day wherever you are. Stay safe, be well, and I'll see you again soon. Okay?